Festival, which was filmed by Alan Speer. And Alan gave me permission to use this for the archives. I got a copy of it done for myself from years gone by, and it was sponsored. This was sponsored by McGee's, and it was recorded, but the recording seems to have gone. And some familiar faces: Jim Nallen there, and Toby Reynolds, who was with us from the very start. Noel Crossan there with a cigarette in his hand, and poor late Jim Sweeney, who was always on the Market Square Committee. And that's Mary Macaulay enjoying the evening. She was formerly Mary Rolston, Noel Crossan there. And I see Billy Patterson or Ronnie there in the background as well. I think that's the late Mrs. McMenamin serving tea at the official opening. The ICA did that. These are three ladies in Letterkenny who formed a group. And this is the RTN Boys Band who came and entertained us that year. That's a very young Jerry Meehan in the background. This is the groups getting ready for the parade. I would love to know who all these children are. They're all big today. There's Jim Nallen, and I see Drew Armour and Jimmy Sweeney, the Jimmy Sweeney there. Patsy Ward, Barney Doherty, the late Tony Gallagher, Barney Dillon, the late Patsy O'Donnell, Jim Nallen, and the RTN Boys Band come up the Port Road. It's a different Port Road now. Of course, Boyce's house is still there. That's Macaulay's garage, long gone. And you're coming up now to where Sloan's used to be. I think it's 4 Lanterns we have there now, and Bell's shop's gone too. And as we're approaching up now, what was west is the theatre now, so it's a whole different Port Road. See John Seacorn and Billy Watson there in the background prior to now. This is now some of the festival queens. They would have been contesting the competition that night in the Golden Grill. And now we're coming up to the Scala, and you see May Carberry's shop, May's shop's all gone too. The school is gone. It's a whole new town now. Now this is what was at McClure's Corner, as we called it. It's now a huge building. There's Master Callahan and Mrs. Callahan, both gone. Now this is the kind of crowd you would have all around the town, at the top of the town. And that's all changed. Russell's house is apartments. And you have the quiet moment there where Noel Crossan's pharmacy was. Now this is a shot at the Market Square. Now this was just what you got always at the opening night of a festival. There's the late Jamie Kendrick and John McCrossan and Toby Reynolds. I see Artie Macaulay there. John McCrossan's getting the flag ready to put it up. There's Hannah Laughlin, the late Neil Blaney there in the picture as well. These were just wonderful nights, and the crowds of people that came from every art and part, especially if the weather was always very good. Now I think this is a Dutch group performing. I'm not too sure now, but I would hazard a guess that it was down Sean Harvey's, down beside the square. That was always a great venue for functions, and were always great nights there. Well, there's Leah McGrannon, John Sweeney, Patrick O'Kane, Reba, Graham. These are some of the visitors. There's Kathleen Lynch, Mrs. Lynch up the Burma. Now this is one for posterity. This is Clannad performing as a very young group in the pub. They won the competition. It may have been the year before, it may have been that year. I don't want to say because I'm not 100% sure. There's a very, very young John Seacorn. There's Meyer Brennan. This footage is great to have because this was the very beginning of their career, and I'm always very proud to say when Leo Brennan comes on radio or anywhere, he always says that he got the form for the group to enter from me. He rang one Saturday to enter them on a Sunday. Joe Joyce of Rathmullen, or of Dunlow, told him to get in touch. And it's very proud when you go abroad and see them up in lights all over the world. There's Paddy McElhinney putting the sash on the Festival Queen. Look at that Jim Lynch, you wouldn't know him, he's that young looking. And I see a program or a bill for poster for Margot in the background. She must have been very young then. That was 1973. Now some of these people I can't recognise. This is the flower show. Mrs. Hanley had the flower club, and it was always a very big occasion. And Mrs. Jensen always came to judge it for Mrs. Hanley. It was one of the focal points of the festival, and the ladies took great pride in it. Mrs. Kern there, still going strong. Now, this is the type of activity you get in the street. They're always singing and dancing from morning until night. The groups just were a great attraction. Now, that's O'Donnell's shop. It was in the main street. That is now a clothes shop. Ricky Blake has a bookie shop beside it. I hazard to guess, I think that was Michael Cramsey there, but now some of these names could be wrong and I'll be in trouble. There's the late Duncan Doherty, a great Celtic supporter, Scotchman, came and married a lady in Letterkenny and reared his family here, and was always staunch Glasgow Celtic man. Now this is the Indian group. They always created a great story about the town, and there was always fun. Now that's Dylan's shop on the laundrette, and we're going right downtown now. That's at McGee's, I think, and Fenton's. A lot of these shops have gone. That's Terence Ponsonby, and this is the Market Square again with the Indians performing. They were a very colourful, very popular group. You see how they perform. And as you know, the hotel, or Hickory's Hotel's gone there, or O'Donnell's. That's a whole big shopping complex. There's some of Bobby Elliot's girls and some of the Callans up to Burma. They're all abroad now and married with their own families. I'm just trying to get a local face. I think there's some of the Callans. And there's Rosie Houston. A very young Rosaline Houston, more of the Callahans. Now this is 27 years ago. This is the year 2000, and that was done in 1973. So it's very hard to remember them all. I think that was an Austrian group. They were or an Austrian. There's John McAteer, a very young John McAteer, who's a Tyrconnell Tribune now. I'm glad John's at the other end side of the camera this time. That's Brenda Blake. Brenda's married now with her own family in London. That's one of the boils of the square. Now this is the pet show. This was a big event too. That's one of the teases of Glencar, George Boyle. George always came and gave out the goodies from HB. He always came with ice cream and pops to the youngsters for the children's afternoon or the children's day. That's one of the Wilsons. There's a few of the Wilsons up with Ard O'Donnell. More of the pets. And there's Rory Kennedy starting his career in international sport, and Declan Doherty and Aidan Midlin. These are more of the pets at the Market Square. The children get a great day out of that now. I would just love to know who that is. I'm sure when they go round we'll be able to get names for them at some stage. Tessie Nee in the background, Muriel Kelly and Mr. Harrison. Now this is the activities. There's Mrs. Ronahan of Rosemount. Now this is the race, had a false start. I have no idea who these people are at all. The late Charlie Kelly and Manus McFadden. These are some of our international runners, I'm sure, of the past. This is more of our four-wheeled bogies going down the street. Now this is Isha McGettigans, Mona McLaughlin, the Red Brady Gallagher, one of the McFeelys, another Mary Ladley, Noel Smith, the late Gerard O'Grady from the Evening Press, one of the Prices, one of the Dohertys at Garton, Job McGlynn, I think that's Martin Blake in the background. I just don't know what group this is. That's John Freeland, Cormac Sheridan. Some of the Prices again. Noel Smith. And there's Greta Peoples, and that's myself, God bless us. And Martin Blake, I was right, having his pint. Now that's the Malones. The Malones entered the competition every year as well and did pretty well in it. I think they even won it one year now. Now this is the Malones too. They became famous musicians eventually. They used to go to America a lot. Now, I cannot see. Oh, that's one of the balloons again. That was McTiggs. That's Patricia Boylan. Stand behind the bar. Leo McGranahan, Martin O'Renan, and that is Ronnie Patterson, floor manager with RTE, and that's Paddy McGroarty there in the front. The late Paddy McGroarty, he was a great man. At the music, this is Nellie McGovern's. There's the late Bernie Doherty, and Mrs. Tony Gallagher. I think that's Harry Russell, one of the Lockharts. It's just hard to keep up with all the names now. It's Mrs. O'Donnell. I just don't know who that one is now. This is Nellie's at the competition, of course. Singing poet. There's Nellie herself. And Billy McCollum. Some of these faces. And Neelis Doherty. It's very sad because these people have all gone. Nellie's just opened last week, a new pub. Phil Coulter opened it. There's Harry Blake pulling his pints. And there's the late Sean O'Donnell singing. These are some of the groups that we're visiting. That's one of the O'Donnells. These are some visitors that were in town as well. That's Greta Peoples. And I think that's Liam Harvey. No, I can't put it. That's one. I don't know exactly who that is. More visitors, obviously. That's one of the Blakes as well. A lot of the dancers spent a lot of time at Harry Blake's pub with Mary and Harry. That's Mick Boland. Mick used to be the PRO for the festival at the beginning, and he still keeps in touch with Letterkenny. Sean O'Donnell, God mercy him, was a great entertainer. I think that's Deirdre Midlin. It is too. That's Eilish Clerkin or Eilish Donnelly. She was a radiologist in the hospital, radiographer in the hospital. Mike Boland was always good for a song. Sorry. Again, I'm lost for names. Because, as I say, most of these were visitors to the town. Now, this is the famous waltzing competition in the grill every year. And look at Charlie Collins and Bida. Poor Charlie's gone from us too. Matt Moore and his wife. John McCrossan's there as keeping the crowds back. Dolly Boland. Kathleen and Jerry Quinn. They're in America now. Patsy Ward doing Stewart. Mrs. Tees. One of the McDermotts. Matt Moore and the wife again. This was always a very exciting night. These people, I think, it's one of the Ponsonby ladies. And that's Molly and Jim Campbell. And that's Fred and Anne McKinley. They always did the dance, the donkey. Fred is no longer with us. And that's the late Paddy Doherty and his wife, Peggy. This is a night that got all the dancers out. And it was always very enjoyable. That's Bida and Charlie. Collins. And that's Mrs. Tees and one of McDermott's. That's one of the Harleys. This is the prize giving now. Bernard McLynch will be presenting the prizes. And we have Johnny Cullion on the drums and Michael Ponsonby on the guitar. A very young Bernard McLynch, let me add. This is Brian Blake and Mary Stevenson. Brian is getting the food ready for the groups, and Lizzie Neely. All these have died, unfortunately, but it's lovely to have it. That is Mary McLaughlin, the famous teacher from Killybegs, who was principal of the college in Killybegs, and started the college off and made a great job. But that's Nellie Callahan. Nellie was in complete control of the catering. And that's Lily Doherty, late Lily Doherty, and that's Susie McGranahan too, from the rope. And I've seen Breda Winston there too. Everybody mucked in and helped to feed them. That's late Mary Stevenson. And these are the groups were always very well fed by these ladies. They did a great job. That's Aileen Dillon long years ago as well, Billy's cousin. I can hardly remember some of these names. Now this was a rugby match or a rugby match that took place during the festival. Now I haven't a clue who the teams are, or I wouldn't know any of the players. But I'm sure somebody will come up at some stage and tell us who's who when they see it. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. I mean, everybody was catered for during the festival time. There was nothing left out. Golf competitions. The farmers took up most of this parade, but then the industries and the various schools and factories also took great interest in the parade. But it was primarily the farmers who did most of the parading. Of course, we had loads of bands coming in. Everybody wanted to be part of it because it was really a focal point of the year, and it brought people home who had never been home for a long, long time, at least when they came home for the festival. That's something to come and enjoy. And the festival now has been taken over by the Letterkenny reunion, which is also a great success. And it brings a lot of people home too, but it's run around the same time as the festival. I wonder who are these? I'm sure there'll be some reaction when people see these. There'll be a lot of talk, and they'll be trying to put names to the faces that I can't do. But Letterkenny has grown so much since those days. It's got about twice the size, if not more. It's hard to know where we are at times. The town is so big. Now I can't even spot a face in the crowd that I can say who's who. That's probably Mrs. Stevenson. She always put in a country kitchen every year. Always did it. She always had a lovely think that's one of the Macaulays there, the character, one of Artie's sons. That's Dermot Rennie and Sons, auctioneers. I don't know whether they're in the furniture at that stage or not. Oh, there's Josie Gilroy, God rest her, she's gone too, and a few of her friends.